All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to our third week of Animal Base 30. Hope you guys are crushing it and looking forward to going into our last week here. I've got Dr. Paul Saladino on with me, and we're going to jump into a couple Q&As from the Animal Based Facebook group. So first question, Paul, is from Dan Apowesiewicz. He asks, what's the deal with maple syrup? I'm not familiar with your thoughts on it. How does it compare to honey?
This is an interesting question, and there's no data on this. I can't point to any studies like I can with honey. Maybe people are aware of studies that have been done with maple syrup, and we can find them. Like I have said in the past, there are lots of studies done with honey, showing that raw organic honey has nitrate precursors, appears to improve cardiovascular function, can even treat oral mucositis and oral candida. So there's no studies like that with maple syrup that I'm aware of. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe we need to look further. But my sense of maple syrup is this. What we know about honey is that the less raw it is, the more cooked, the more processed, the less dark it is, the less beneficial compounds there are in the honey. Now, to get maple syrup, you take this sap from the trees, and you boil it, and you boil it, and you boil it, and you boil it, and you boil it. So my sense about maple syrup is I don't think it's as good as honey, because you can't call it raw. And you certainly have to cook the heck out of it and boil it down to make a syrup that's that concentrated. I think the actual liquid you get from like a maple tree would be interesting to drink, right? Kind of like coconut water, but that would be like maple water. And once you've cooked that a whole bunch, the question is, are there valuable things, nitrate precursors, other compounds that are then denatured by all that cooking? So that's my sense. Again, it might be interesting. This is a great question to look and see if there's any research on maple syrup. But I am not convinced with regard to sugar that pure table sugar is benign. And I've got a podcast coming up with Stefan Van Billiet. I'm fascinated by the idea of food matrix. And I don't want this concept to be too much hand-waving, but I don't believe that fructose in fruit is the same as fructose in high fructose corn syrup or fructose in pure cane sugar that's been stripped out of a sugar cane, for instance. So I am fascinated by the occurrence of sugar in the food matrix, honey, fruit, etc. And I've seen a good amount of evidence that that doesn't look to have the same effect on humans that pure table sugar might. So this is interesting. Now, if you think about it from the perspective of like sodas and stuff, nobody believes that soda is good for us. And there's lots of other things in soda that could be the cause of the problem with soda. It may be processed sugar, or it might be the fact that soda has phosphoric acid and colorings and all kinds of other bad stuff in it. So it's difficult to sort this out. I think it's an important question to ask, because at this point, I really believe that sugar, quote unquote, sucrose, glucose, fructose, or other sugars, lactose, which is a disaccharide of glucose and galactose, found in a whole food matrix are not harmful for humans. But I'm not convinced that sugar taken out of the whole food matrix is benign for humans. Not something we would have really done. Although you can imagine our ancestors cooking maple syrup. I'm just not convinced this is as good as honey. So that's where I stand now. We can look into it and see if there's any research on maple honey, but I prefer honey.